In this video I will be covering all you need to know about Joy Boy, a mysterious character in One Piece. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss out on our new videos. Let's get started. There have been various theories surrounding him. Joy Boy lived 800 years ago during the Void Century, 100 years of history that has been eradicated by the world government. Apart from the indestructible poneglyphs scattered across the world, almost nothing at all remains from the Void Century. One of the only people who can read the poneglyphs and who helped uncover the mentions of Joy Boy is the archaeologist of the Straw Hat Pirates, Nico Robin. Joy Boy made a promise with Poseidon, one of the ancient weapons over 800 years ago that involved using the Sea Kings to lift the massive ark, called the Noah, that sits at the bottom of the sea. Joy Boy was unable to hold up his side of the deal, which describes this is actually an apology to Fishman Island. Joy Boy was also partners with Zunatia, a massive elephant that is still alive today and is 35 kilometers tall, and was sentenced to walk a path in the ocean for 800 years after committing a crime. In 20 years after Roger reached Laughtail, Joy Boy was supposed to be reincarnated. According to a long-held prophecy, Luffy, the main protagonist, is the second coming of Joy Boy. There are many significant theories surrounding Joy Boy in One Piece, including the possibility that he was the original Pirate King or a giant, that the giant straw hat that Imu keeps in Mary Joy belonged to him, that he has something to do with the ancient kingdom's mysterious power source, that he unified all the oppressed races of the One Piece world, and that perhaps he sought to spread freedom and joy wherever he went. Whatever Joy Boy's role in the narrative is, it's clear that he's an essential and mysterious figure in the series, and it will be interesting to see how his story unfolds. The mysterious treasure that Joy Boy left behind caused Roger to laugh like crazy, leading him to name this island Laughtail. He also revealed that for some reason, he arrived at Laughtail too early. There goes Oda being mysterious again. We're not sure why Roger was too early in Arrivi. That's right, Joy Boy's coming back. According to a long-held prophecy, Joy Boy would be reincarnated 800 years after the Void Century, or 20 years after Roger reached Laughtail. This prophecy is known in part thanks to a character named Kazuki Oden, the former shogun of Wano country. The Kazuki clan in ancient times were the ones who actually wrote the poneglyphs. Oden sailed with Galdi, Roger, to Laughtail and kept a logbook of their travels. Roger and Oden learned that they'd arrived too early, but that in 20 years, Joy Boy would return to Wano. This led Oden to make his goal of opening Wano's borders to welcome Joy Boy in 20 years' time. And the second Joy Boy is none other than Monkey D. Luffy. That's right, our main character Luffy is the second coming of the legendary hero Joy Boy. During the fight with the Emperor of the Sea, Kaido, Luffy awakened a new power. What Luffy calls Gear 5 is actually the awakening of his Devil Fruit. After all of these years in the series, we learned that Luffy's Devil Fruit wasn't actually the rubber fruit, it was a super powerful fruit called the Sun God Nika fruit. We still don't know much about the deity, the Sun God Nika, but we can guess that it's connected to Joy Boy in some way. When Luffy transformed his hair and clothes turned all white and he couldn't stop laughing. He also gained new powers. This are seemingly only limited by his imagination. Now let's talk about the name of Luffy's Devil Fruit, Hito no Mi model Nika. Like the other variants of the Hito Hitomai, the user is able to transform into a human or person of that said variant. With Chopper, he was a reindeer who ate the base Hitakito no Mi, giving him the ability to transform into a human-like form, and anything that's in between the human that Chopper transforms into is quite generic. However, with Sengoku, he ate the Hito Hitomai model Daibutsu, which is a mythical zone fruit because Daibutsu is a mythical being and personality. With this fruit, Sengoku is able to transform into Daibutsu himself, which is a giant gold Buddha. Likewise with Onimaru, who is a Komagatsun fox, he ate the Hito Hitomai mythical model Onyudo. This gave the fox the ability to literally transform into a large monkey. Okay, this all brings us back to Luffy, who like the others can transform into its set variant, which is the mythical figure sun god However, Nika. All along, due to Nika giving its user a body made of rubber, Luffy wasn't aware of what he really possessed, and since he's pretty dense, along with being told by Shanks that he fell into a false pretense and believed rubber was all there was to his fruits, whilst only subconsciously using the creativity his fruit gives. The thing is, there is a misconception that a person knows the name of his fruits once they eat it. However, that's not true. We were told by Kaku during any lobby that we can figure out the name by the user only after they figure out the power meaning. Gamma Gamma Nomi is not entirely wrong, as is still a fruit that grants the user a body made of rubber, but again, that doesn't take anything away from the fact that this fruit actually grants the user the full power of sun god Nika. This brings us to, who is Nika? Well, Nika was first mentioned by Who's Who in his fight against Jinbei in chapter 1018, freeing them from their cruel lords and bringing smiles on their faces. Who's Who had heard this legend of Nika from a god when he was imprisoned under Mary Joe for failing to deliver Luffy's Nika food to the world government. Who's Who feared that the legend was not meant to be spread and that the world government had done something to that god. He then chose to flee in order to avoid a potentially worse sentence for knowing too much. Who's Who's story about the god tells us that just hearing someone say anything about Nika could get you killed. The government is that fearful of just the name. Honestly, this kind of makes sense, as in the past when Fisher Tiger was adventuring onto the sea, he was captured and sent to Mary Joa as a slave from the celestial dragons. Even with his race as a fish man, he did not discriminate against the human slave and freed everyone, bringing smiles to their faces. And then he does something more interesting. He decides to change the mark of a slave into a sun, since he was now hunted by the government as well. He created the Sun Pirates in chapter 621. Right after this, Luffy and Blackbeard wants to create a country where pirates can roam free, but the light from their eyes have gone out, just like Fisher Tiger wanting to liberate the press but not willing. But we will talk about that in the next video.